Oh, the title screen changed. Wonder if that's related to the progress made in the game. Sunday streams can condition your ears to brace for flashing lights and loud noises. But a big part of this game is just the awesome music. So I'm already, I think, like 2/3 of the way through the game, most likely. Probably about 30 more minutes or so left. There isn't a whole lot to know about it. It's like, it's like an adventure game, and you're collecting these cassette tapes, and the cassette tapes seem to be like these portals into other worlds, but then you magnetize the tapes and corrupt them, and that causes them to become these like alternate worlds. And there's some kind of loose narrative going on where there's like these radios saying like, I don't even entirely remember what they're saying. Something about like the effects of these tapes, and then there's some other element going on with this involving lasers and lenses, and I just don't even know. So, let us continue. Ah, exactly where I left off. Very nice. Well, let me go back to the entryway to this. You can usually tell if I'm gonna like a game if they put a lot of focus on the sound effects of stuff. Every little door and every little interaction has some kind of noise associated with it. I'll usually like it. That is such a nice attention to detail. It's overlooked a lot in my opinion. You know, games you can enjoy just by watching them. You don't even have to know what's going on. Just games that are just a pleasure to just watch. Like a lot of times you'll see a game and you're like, I have no idea what's going on. Like when I watch League of Legends, I just sort of blindly stare at it and I'm like, I don't know. And it just doesn't keep my attention. Because you gotta know the gameplay, you gotta know all of that. But games that you don't really have to know anything to enjoy are some of my favorite. And we got hexagons. You enjoy hearing in mono? Hey, well you were meant for this stream then, Sick today. I'm kidding. Oh, we got cassette player. Are those VR goggles? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's see what this does. A very viney environment. Alright, you can turn the vines on and off. It's a nice feature. I like how the focus changes when you go into your inventory, back to the game. Details. Person +1. Okay. What is this? Orientation.
Orientation.
Learn about your new
TD525.
All right.
Follow these instructions to ensure proper use of the TD-525.
I want this device.
The device can be useful for combating aberrant emotions.
Aberrant? I thought it was aberrant.
Extended use of the device is not advised.
Too bad.
Movement while wearing the device may cause injury.
Or monitors to fall off chairs.
Contact with magnetic devices is forbidden. This tape will restart in 3, 2, 1. Orientation.
Oh my god, what's...
About your new TD-525.
Uh-oh. Did I break it? So what's gonna happen now when I corrupt that tape? Kind of scared. And a lot of the graffiti in the background usually serves as hints. So we got a crying guy with a symbol which is like that polyhedron shape we've been using to unlock doors earlier. Okay. Bought a cassette today. Well, yeah, we were talking about last stream that cassettes are kind of making a resurgence. I was watching this documentary and it was saying that in 2015, for the first time in many, many years, the demand for cassette tapes is on the rise. And now there's all kinds of modern adaptations for it. Like someone in the chat posted this device that's proposed where it's like this tiny little clip that just goes over one of the cams of the cassette tape, and then you just plug in headphones or something to it and it plays the tape. You know, considered the big, bulky, square things, which are really satisfying, you know, tape players, but this is like the modern incarnation of a cassette player. Well, a lot of people swear by the quality of cassette tapes. It's because anything that's produced through analog means has its own kind of nostalgia. Like there'll be layers of sound on top. There we go. I mean, I'm not really an expert on it, so I don't really have an opinion. This tape won't end. Got the orthographic region. I mean, the only appeal of cassettes to me is that, you know, they're not as fragile as like CDs and DVDs. And, well, and the big nostalgia factor. That was how I listened to any music most of the time growing up. CDs really weren't a thing for me. I never bought any music CDs. Actually, I never bought any cassettes either, but my parents did. Working together. Like, I don't have any music on my desktop or on my computer at all. I just strictly just find a random thing and listen to it. Like, I don't follow, for the most part, don't follow any particular artists or swear by it or have MP3s, an MP3 player, or anything. Like, most of the time I don't even care who the artist is. I'll just click through random SoundCloud playlists, just jump around, just whatever sounds nice. I mean, Lossel is one of the exceptions because his type of music is so hard, in my opinion, to find anything that isn't just ugly and cliche sounding. And it's that like ultra ambient chill kind of stuff. I don't know, if you ever looked for that type of drone music, that it's really hard to find stuff that isn't just grating and hurts your ears kind of stuff. I forgot to mention too that like a few weeks ago I actually met him in person. Got to tell him how much I really enjoy his music. It was raining that day and I went on a long bike trip to get there, and it was just a perfect atmosphere, and the concert was at like 2 in the morning. Just all so perfect. And he had a live cello player with him. Did I miss something? Yeah, I did burn CDs quite a bit, but not for music, just for games and stuff. Like, my uncle had all kinds of games that he would buy, and then we would duplicate the games on the CDs and then give them to everyone we know. I feel like I missed... Oh, okay, there's a key door there. I gotta find a way to magnetize this tape. Actually, I had floppy disks. Well, that was some of the first games I ever played were on those disks. Oh, there's a room underground. And I remember having, like, the game Marathon by Bungie. You know, the people who would go on to make Halo. One of their second game was called Marathon, and that's the FPS that I grew up on. I mean, I played Wolfenstein 3D first. That was my first FPS, but then I got really into Marathon. And the installation for that game was like 12 floppy disks, and you had to set aside like an hour of installation time, and it took so long. But that sound of the floppy disks installing something that kind of thing of the drive running, and the heat it would emit and the vibrations of the floppy disk drive, and just all of that is extremely nostalgic to me. I actually had to go and buy a floppy disk, and I like the sounds of it, like the sound of floppy disk just hitting a table and the sound of it being in a disk drive. So my uncle, who's a source for a lot of technological stuff for me, he actually had a disk drive, floppy disk drive, that was a USB floppy disk drive. Like, it was just like a painful device to look at. Like, 2 totally different generations of technology, USB and floppy disk, just jammed into one. It didn't quite make all the nostalgia sounds though, because it was all modernized. It's like ultra silent, low heat emitting. It's like, no, I want all those flaws. I want to listen to, see what it sounds like. Oh, Defers, you played Marathon? That's awesome. I thought the story for Marathon was way more interesting than Doom's story. I know people probably don't play Doom for the story, but I'm a much bigger fan of that kind of sci-fi than I am of like demons and hell and Satan, and I'm not a fan of gore and all that either. Even though Marathon had its share of gore, it was like not glorified gore. It's not like, oh hell yeah, you murdered the shit out of them, let's kill them even harder, like Doom. Remember that distinct slosh sound that all the Marathon aliens made when they're shot? And they had that radio static noise, it's like a when they were nearby. And then there's the bobs, the born on boards. What am I missing here? And then the bobs were like, they're everywhere, ah! And they would always you're supposed to rescue them, and they're always right in front of you when you're shooting, so you inevitably just killed tons of them. Was I an old school Mac user? Yeah, my first computer was a Mac. I grew up with a Macintosh Performa 450. I remember when we upgraded to a Power Mac, that was insane. Like, we used to have to play Doom in Marathon on a tiny little, like, postcard-sized window. It was running at, like, 800 by 600, no, 640 by 480 resolution. And that would grind to a halt that small. And then we got a Power Mac, and we were able to run the game full screen. And we were like, this is insane. Marathon definitely had more nuanced story than Doom or any other shooter at the time, had more characters. For sure, I think Marathon did a lot better in terms of like character development, even though most of the story was just you reading stuff, which I'm not a fan of. Like, okay, here's the story, and then you sit there and just read a book on your computer screen, which, you know, technological limitations at the time, maybe that's the best you could do, because you couldn't exactly fit lots of voice acting onto a game. You had to like read computer consoles. I feel like I am missing something here. I need to find a way to magnetize this disc. Or maybe I missed something on the disc. I'll have to check. Well, at the time, there was just IBMs and Macs. And most of the IBMs, that we called them IBMs, were command prompt. And that was such a turnoff as a little kid who could barely read. It's like, I have to type words to run things. When we got a Mac, it was like, this is the most user-friendly computer I've ever used in my life. Like when you had an actual desktop and a mouse. I'm gonna look at this tape again. I feel like I missed something. First computer was in 2007. My first computer was in 1997, I believe, or 6.
Your new TD525.
Remember, I was able to type before my teachers in school were able to.
TD525. The device can be useful for combating aberrant emotions.
Oh, I knew it! I knew it!
Extended use of the device is not advised.
Now the question is, which one do I put it in? This is the question that big-time players at bars ask themselves. Maybe I'm gonna go back further in that lab-looking area. Oh, right here. Let's go to this one. Click the magnet when it appears. Oh. Well, I'll go back and try that after I explore this area. Okay, well that opened a new thing. What is this? I can't tell what's happening. Are these doors... Or are these doors? Are they jammed? Are they... Let's see. I remember when my cousins had an IBM computer, and that was the one that had the DOS prompt for everything. And then it was a big day when my uncle, not the same as the other uncle I was talking about, the uncle in that family he got Windows 95, and it, you know, that was like the life-changing moment for PC users at the time, because it added like a user-friendly desktop and everything, and I was like, psh, I've been doing this since the 90s, or whenever Windows 95 came out, like probably 95. Caution maintenance vent? Always suspicious when there's just a room with, there doesn't seem to be anything in it. I never really understood why people are so afraid of Macs. I mean, I know there's always kind of that battle, kind of like Nintendo versus Sega, like whatever thing you're more comfortable with are the good guys, and the thing that's not like the thing you're used to are the bad guys. But they're so similar. I mean, maybe people would not like the ego behind a lot of Mac users. I mean, these days I only use PCs, but I'm not like totally lost if I have to use a Mac or something. I mean, there's always the price aspect. I know why people don't buy them, but just general use of one. I don't understand why someone would be really... someone who isn't like doing a super technical thing, just, you know, browsing the web is pretty much identical on Macs and PCs these days. Wait, do I have to... Oh, I have to take the gears. There is no solution. Okay, I think I have to remove the ones from the other area. Bring them back here. I mean, it's starting to be, too, that a lot of big-name game developers and musicians and, like, just content producers use Macs. Like, all of Family Guy, I believe, is produced on Macs. And regardless of what you think about Family Guy, you know, that's a huge, successful thing. And a lot of, like, music DJs and people use them. I mean, I'm not saying one's better than the other. The last Mac I ever had was in 2006, and haven't used one since then. And I mean, if you don't like them, it's like you're not the target market then. A lot of people see it as like a designer product, like people who buy designer clothes, they buy designer phones and devices and things like that. It's just like that sort of thing doesn't speak to a lot of people. The designer aspect, or you're paying extra for the label kind of thing. Okay, where were those gears? Yeah, I see a lot of video editors using Macs for that kind of stuff. I mean, if someone can efficiently use a computer and it does exactly what they want it to do and they do it well, like who's to say they're incorrect to be doing it that way? Here we go. Give me these. Need this. Now how do I get out? I see there's gonna be a lot going on in this place. Okay. Any new revelations? Well, I just started playing this. Exactly. Jeez, it's been 41 minutes already? My god. But the stream was just sitting idle until Voob went offline. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta go back. Wait, that just led me outside? Oh wait, I had to go down. Okay. Okay, not here. Unplug. All right. Wait. See, there's a switch behind this debris. Okay, couldn't have predicted that was gonna happen. So the light moved over the vines, which made them grow, which made them attack a bunch of debris, and there we go. Brace for the train. Got it. I'm gonna take these with me, just in case. Guess I might as well use it here. Oh, I can't use... That's a pentagon-shaped lock? Disgusting. This was originally designed as a console game, so you could play this entirely just with joysticks. Remember, I was waiting for the PC release of this. Even though it came out last year, it just took me a long time. And someone in the chat, who isn't here right now, but he referred me to it. And I was like, oh yeah, that game, or this game. Okay, so I think where I need to go is at the entrance. Is this a tape? No, it's a tape player. Okay. Where on earth was that other door? Did I break a door? Maybe. I did see that there are vines covering an entrance to a door that I don't think I was supposed to be able to open. I mean, wasn't supposed to have the vine going over it at the same time. Oh, and I forgot to thank Bruce Ironstaunch and Stampeding Vash for the follows. I don't think either of you are still in the chat, but thank you. Is this where the other door was? Oh, this is the Pentagon one again, dang it. Dang nabbit. So what is that Mike emote supposed to be? That derpy looking Sonic character, whatever it is. Oh, I used the polygon thing on the entrance one already, I thought. It's from Earthbound 3D or something. Mother 64. There was a 64 version? Oh, well, thank you, Electric Eel. That's what I'm trying to do. I know probably at least half the chat is asleep. I mean, my goal isn't necessarily to be as boring as possible as people fall asleep, but I just kind of like the kinds of games and music that appeal to me are ones that make you feel calm and content. Earthbound 64 is going to be for the 64DD. But it got scrapped and became Mother 3 on Game Boy Advance. God, yeah, the 64DD is such an interesting thing. I remember reading, was it Nintendo Power or something, talking about the 64DD, and I was gonna buy it. And I was all excited for it because I read about all the cool things like, oh, you can buy add-ons for Ocarina of Time? That's amazing. The concept of like adding on to an already existing game. And it was going to have 3D modeling software on it, and it was going to be like a like you're able to import your own content into the game. Like they're saying you could make a custom Link outfit or something like that. And you know, back in the 90s, that was way ahead of its time, being able to modify a game, like have fans modify the game. Well, thank you, Too Quick Too Fast, for the bits. Well, now I am very lost. Okay, let me systematically go through each room. Okay, so there's 3 different... If I go in... Okay, now I'm there. Now there's 5 different exits. 1, 2, 3. You can go back. 4, 5. So I'll check each of the 3 in the middle again. It's interesting, it has like a person and a number 1. Another person. So you're getting bits now. Congrats on becoming a Twitch affiliate. Well, thank you. It's actually... I had met the requirements for affiliate. You know, like... I already had everything, except I had to have more streams, so I just streamed like several times in 1 week and got it. I already had enough followers and time streaming. Like I've had my, this isn't one of the requirements, but I've had my Twitch account since before, or right in the beginning of Justin TV, before it was even called Twitch. So that had to be back in like 2012, 2011. My very first stream was a long time ago too. It was before I even knew anything about Vinesauce. First stream was Surgeon Simulator, whenever that was out. I'm curious, let me check real quick. And the VODs no longer exist because Twitch had a time where they wiped all the old content. You had to save it if you wanted to keep it, and I wasn't aware of what was going on, and then it got lost. Let me see something. Just want to see when Surgeon Sim was released, because that would have been... Okay, 2013. So my first stream is in 2013. That's the thing above the 2 doors in the dark. Wait, let me see where I am. Okay, so I've checked everything in this quadrant. What would you call a segment of a 6-sided shape? A sextant? No, that's a navigational tool. This should let me jump over to one of the other sides. Oh, but it's... Okay, this will take me outside. Wait. Oh, that just brought me back. I went in the wrong door. Okay, now I'm back outside. The first Vinny stream I ever saw was... It was just like a one-off. I didn't come back, but it was on livestream.com, which is, I don't think, a thing anymore. And... Okay, let me check this room. And it was him... It was him corrupting Mario 1 with corrupt.exe, and I remember laughing really hard at the names he was giving each of the corruptions. Like, it's been that long. Because the corruptions back in the day were so minimal that it would just be happy if there was even the slightest modification to the game. So the names were like he would make it a new Mario title. So it was Super Luigi Moves Left Brothers, Super First Coin is Missing Brothers, Super Goomba Frozen Brothers. And it's just like really underwhelming, boring things that were happening, but he's trying to make it exciting in an ironic kind of way. And I was like crying. I was laughing so hard at that stream. And I'm not sure what made me return. I think it was... Wait, where am I? I think it was might have been in Mario 64 corruptions or something. No, this is the... Let me try doing what someone said. I'm gonna try clicking the magnet.
Orientation. Learning about your new TD525. Follow these instructions to ensure proper use of the TD525. The device can be useful for combating aberrant emotions.
Gonna keep an eye out if there's anything else to collect.
Extended use of the device is not advised. Movement while wearing the device may cause injury. Contact with magnetic devices is forbidden. This tape will restart. 2, 1.
Darn. That is curious how...
Learning about your new TD525.
how he, the voice got distorted when he said avoid contact with magnets. But I know there was a door somewhere that I hadn't opened. Like, where is this on the map? Okay. So now I'm gonna go back outside. Yeah, I remember the Chatango days and the one account. It was very rare that I ever got to see specifically Vinny. I think it was always like Limes or someone who was on when I managed to watch a stream. And people kept confusing Jen and Marissa all the time. So it'd be like Marissa streaming, everyone would be like, oh, what's going on, Jen? How you doing? Like, I'm not Jen. But I remember Chatango was just a visual assault. It was like you could change the background of your chat message. So of course everyone had the most obnoxious thing possible, or it'd be like some anime thing, or just something that made your text impossible to read, and it would just like defeat the whole purpose of having a message, and it was just really ugly. They don't even sound alike. Well, you know, the internet. There's all the streamers, and then one of them is the girl. And the fact that there's like more than one girl is like, what? They're different people? You found Vine Sasuke Tamarachi Life. Yeah, there's definite... Oh wait, I was already here. There's a definite amount of phases. There'll be like one certain aspect where a whole bunch of people will be flooding in because of that, and then you get to know the rest of the content from that point on. Okay, this is the area I haven't thoroughly searched. You learned about Vinesauce through my stream? Really? Well, Damon, where did you come from? Like, did you just find me streaming a random game once and then just came by, or what? Because usually all my viewers come from like one of 3 communities I'm a part of. Wait, is this where I came in? Okay, that is where I came in. Let me check the other one then. Dang it! I always use the loading time or the transitions as a chance to look over at chat, but then I don't see what door I just came out of, so I keep going back in the same one. Oh, is this it? Is this it? Oh, it is! It was that room the whole time. Okay. Oh, we got magnets. What's the switch do? Alright. Let us corrupt. Oh yeah, Damon. Yeah, I was streaming shortwave radio stuff. How did you... were you looking in... I can't remember what I set it as. Was it like creative? Like, were you browsing the creative category and then saw radio? Okay. I don't know if I'm ready to be orientated to the corruption world, so I'll do corrupt train first, see what this is like. Ooh. Oh, there's the thing. It's a pentagon. We're going backwards too. Okay, let's see what happens to the orientation. Uh-oh. He's not happy. Well, I'll take the thing and I'll be on my way. One of your teachers from last fall had a radio club and some members are actually licensed. Yeah, I kind of wish or hope with all the resurgence of retro stuff that this does. With like vinyl records and cassette tapes and all that, I hope amateur radio makes a comeback. So people, young folks now will get into that kind of technology. Like, it is so cool. It is so counter what we're used to right now that I'd like to see people getting into. Because right now, like, I'm trying to become a part of internet communities where there are a lot of people who are legitimate radio operators and they know the tech and all that, but it's like they're so, like, they just don't want anyone else to be a part of their club. Like, they're really, just to generalize, they just don't like outsiders. Like, if you're not someone who, you know, grew up with it and you're not currently in your 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, you just don't understand. Like, I tried, you know, here's 29-year-old me talking to some like 70-year-old guys, and they're just kind of treating me like, oh, you just like radio because it's like a thing that's in video games sometimes and it interests you. I don't know. It's just not very inviting. I mean, they weren't like angry or anything, they're just sort of rude. Like, any use of Morse code outside of strict communication usage is just unacceptable. I think it's fun to type out Morse code and dots and dashes or periods and hyphens, and I'm a part of a Morse code group online. People who do it as like who used to do it in the Navy and actually did it as a career previously, and I was just like, hey guys, how's it going in Morse code? And they're like, Morse code should never exist in a written form. It is strictly an audio language. I don't know. They always have like some way of wording it. Get that attitude with analog photography. It's all exclusive clubs. Yeah. I'm thinking one of my next weird things to tackle is to try to learn Braille. You know, like the blind tactile alphabet. Braille seems really interesting to me. I'd like to try to learn it. Okay, so now I have 2 pentahedrons. The thing that's so cool about Morse to me is that it can exist in so many different formats. Like, it can be light, it can be sound, it can be like written out, and a wide range of sounds. It could be a human voice, it could be a computer, it could be a flashing light, dripping water. I mean, it can exist in so many different forms. That's exciting to me. It's like you can communicate in a lot of different ways. Now to get back to where I once belonged, no, where I found those other things, which I think is over here. Nope, that's the wrong way. And Morse code fact for you all is that the Titanic had, oh god, what is it called? It had a method, it had a telegraph machine, like a device that transmits Morse code. It had an older technology, I think it's called like a spark something, where it uses a huge, like a really wide wavelength, meaning that if anyone was transmitting in it, it would just obliterate any other transmissions in the area, and it was very noisy. And as it became more popular, lots of ships and coastal bases and stuff were all using this technology, but one person overusing it would just ruin the airwaves and you couldn't communicate with it. So the Titanic had been signaling that it was in trouble for a very long time, and because there was so much activity over the air of these other stations just talking over their signals, you know, their emergency frequencies, that they weren't able to get help. Like if they had let them talk, essentially, they probably could have saved more lives, but because the technology just was not good enough, it just ruined the communication. So that prompted all kinds of regulations about channels, and the technology got better where you could narrow down the transmission of those signals to a very small frequency, so that way you could have lots of people sharing it, not like one person at a time. It'd be kind of like trying to communicate in a really loud room at a club where there's lots of shouting people, and then trying to, like, you know, whisper a message to someone in a really loud room. But yeah, that technology it's also interesting to me, mostly because it's so not what we're used to. We're used to like very streamlined, instantaneous things. So I like knowing about where did all this come from. And I'm going backwards, aren't I? Yeah, Eel, I was just thinking of that. Yeah, like trying to... When I see you guys in the chat right now, in Vinny's chat, it's like you just fly by 1,000 miles per hour and I can't even catch up. Alright, here's the new spot. Wait, what? Whoa. Did that just take me back? Are you kidding me? That's all it did? It was just open a shortcut? Now I'm really lost. Wait, let me go back. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this spot. TCP/IP and other protocols are interesting that way. Error correction is fascinating, especially that it's done while trying to use as few bits as possible. Yeah, I mean those are some of the systems where I'm very confused about, kind of like the development of modems, and really early days of the internet are pretty confusing, but that is a cool aspect of it, is that like you're trying to do as much as you can with like bare minimum amount of data that you're transferring at once. And there's like a whole like art form practically to how abbreviated everything can be while still delivering the message that you need to deliver. How am I getting back there? Okay, let me exit this spot. We only communicate through meme. I feel like, you know, memes, it's a sign of when you've reached that, it's like a hierarchy of needs in a way in communication. We get to the point where we can just throw unimportant stuff out there just because it's something that's funny right now. It's kind of proves that communication has been so successful, or the technology is so successful, that we can just throw unimportant things out there just for the fun of it. Okay, stop! It's kind of frustrating it does that. Oh, what is... Oh, this is new. Like a big city of some kind. Oh, no, that's my inventory, never mind. Okay, here's a new door. Or memes like a reduction of complex information, like an advanced vessel for exchanging information, or kind of abusing. I wouldn't say abusing. I mean, it's just, it's human culture. When you have the ability to encapsulate an idea or a behavior in a simple form, and then you kind of take that simplified form and just throw it around and be like, hey, remember this? Ha 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 ha. But you're not actually saying remember this, it's just sort of like this. Like if you're not in Twitch and you just say Kappa somewhere else, like that's a meme. makes sense to those that understand it. And yeah, a meme isn't a new thing, it's just like a human behavior that now suddenly has a name. Okay, so we got a new form of magnetization. So this dude is gonna be really pissed off. I have now doubled the magnetism. Let's do the train first. Hello, Captain Obvious. Ah, yes. Yeah, Captain Obvious in the chat is the one that recommended this game. Oh, there it is. But I want to see what else is here. Did a project once on fads of the 20s, and it was basically the same thing. Yeah. Like there was an article I saw that was like, I think it was titled, is this the oldest meme of all time? And it was, what was it? It was rocks found in an ancient Roman arena, where it's like people in the audience would engrave a certain phrase onto a rock, and they would throw it at someone, and the phrase that was written on it was like this kind of ironic thing that said like, look out or something, and they would throw the rock and try to hit people, or I don't know. It was something about engravings on a rock, and that's why it survived so long. Yeah, back in the day, you just had to explain funny thing to family. Hello, Boney Games. You rarely get to catch my streams. Been a fan since GTA 5 Cryptid stream. Well, thank you. A lot of the people who are here came over since that, and I'm really grateful that I was able to be on that stream, and that Vinny was willing to have me on. Like, he barely knew me at all. I had met him once in GTA 5, and I emailed him and said like, hey, I would love to come back on and tell you more about secrets in GTA 5 again, and he was like, oh sure, I'll think about it. And then like a month or more later, suddenly came back and was like, hey dude, do you want to do this? And it was like really spur of the moment. I was like, oh shit, I was like asleep or something, and rushed to my computer, had to get everything together, like, oh my god, my microphone's not ready, and then suddenly I was live, and I'm like, okay, I gotta remember all this. And I only ended up showing him like half of all the stuff that's there. Okay, so now we're gonna see the very serious orientation tape of 2 levels of corruption. Uh-oh. There's a clock on the table. He's not a fan of green, he only likes his red and blue. But he has his cassette headset thing off, and he's just staring at a wall. Don't see anything to interact with. Gonna have to back out. Okay, see you later, sick today. What you're getting from this is someone that really likes icosahedra. It's true. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I remember there being a poster. Whoa. remember there being a poster in one of my math classrooms in like middle school that had a whole chart of all the different really complicated names for different geometric shapes, and it was like the coolest poster. Could not remember. Only one I remember is dodecahedron. I think that was like a meme or something for a while, because for some reason I remember more recently seeing dodecahedron written somewhere, and I was like, I remember that from that poster. Oh my god, yet more gears. Okay, this is a pentagon. Spinning green things are icosahedrons. I remember reading about all like the Greek prefixes and roots and things like that for the naming of shapes, and it gets so confusing. Differs. I wasn't able to look all the way behind me. You're limited to like 200 degrees or something. Okay. Registration. Rhomboicosahedron. It was something about like, yeah, like a shape could be, like the naming of a shape can get more and more complicated depending on what is mathematically done to it. Any people live here? Wait a minute. I hope these straps that are on the beds are to hold the mattress down and not the person to the bed. No tapes beyond this point. Am I gonna disobey? Because I def got tapes. Oh wait, there's a thing up here. Yes, I was looking for this. Gonna get a lens. The lens of truth. Nice. Elementary school, you would create a shape with a ridiculous amount of sides. Call it a piagon, but like an n-gon. I'll take that back. Alright, I'm gonna enter the no tape door. Ah, and there's a tape. What does this map look like? Okay. Cave. Just want to listen to this music. This will probably take me back outside. No. We will burn. We getting kind of culty in here. Just a little. Oh. Or just literally burn. And now wait, no, don't exit. No! I didn't get to corrupt the crystal. Oh. Okay, well, I got the lens. Let me... Well, first, well, lens first. And I bet it's going to be a green laser. Yeah, I can't do it yet. I have to do radio first. Oh. Oh, I was right. Because the other ones are red and blue. But you didn't see anyone? No, between you and me, I think they all jumped. The factory? Turned their brains into mush. They couldn't handle it when the tapes started getting blah 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 magnets. They must have really grown attached to those places. I would too. More than anything, I think that without that refuge, they saw how futile everything was. Futile? It have been that bad, or it must have been that bad. Okay. We advanced to cylindrical zone. Well, clearly, I'm gonna start on the yellow painted one. Oh my. Musculature. I have an element of water now. That is one advanced Lemmy face in the chat, or whatever it's called. It's at the top. Tundra. There's a lot of depth of field stuff happening. For the most part, I like it. Sometimes it's not very smooth, like the transition will just like snap. I thought the last area was going to be the last one for the previous. Oh boy. Okay, let me look at what the current positions are. There's... First one has 2 dashes on all sides. Second one has 2 dashes on 3 sides, facing left. 2 dashes on 3 sides facing right. So let me try rotating this. Okay. Will they both move at the same time? Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Oh, have we learned any more about story since the last stream a couple hours back? Kinda, there's been a lot of environmental storytelling and some sparse dialogue. It's hard to... Yeah, it's just basically, from what I can tell, is that it's a society where people are addicted to these devices that show an ideal environment, and that it's very illegal and not recommended to magnetize the tapes. And the last area that I was in had all these beds, or people were like strapping themselves to beds and saying that we're going to burn. And there was a door that said, "No tapes allowed." So there's varying opinions on these tapes. Okay, well that button did something, I guess. Interesting that everything is unlocked. We can go back. Open drainage flow ahead. Okay, so I see these diagrams. This is like the quietest water flow ever. Okay, so we got fully shaded square, half shaded square, and then dashes. Trying to make sense of this. This is probably like a hint or something back here. So it's like the shaded and the dashes need to touch each other, but this... Okay, the half and the dash need to touch, and then the fully shaded ones should not. This is my best guess. Lostrixus. Seems like there's something missing. Could be. Well, might be something hidden behind this water. Let's see if I can go ahead. I'll come back here. Is that a Jimmy Russell emote? What streamer has that? Oops, I just went back in. Oh, now there's sound. Bug. Oh my god, there's multiple tiers of rustlage. Okay, we got another tape. Ice. Now this is chill. That Jimmy Russell is a celebrity. I know, like R-U-S-S-E-L. This is a cool tape, I agree. I have to ask you to chill out. Okay, I probably need to corrupt it. Oh my god, we got more of these wheels. Interesting. Okay, so I put shaded to solid. Huh. This is really interesting. Okay, let me just try connecting all of a similar type first. No? Okay, how about just connecting the gray ones to the half tone? No. My God. anyone has any advice, it is welcome. Well, brute forced it. So the solution, I guess... Trying to make sense of what the solution was. Okay, it's solid, touching the half, and then solid, and then solid. I don't really know why that was a solution. Okay, well, I'll take it. We got magnets. Solution was inconsistent with the previous puzzle logic. Yeah, I'm not really gathering what they're trying to get me to do. Let's start with the tundra. See a thing. Maybe there isn't a thing. Guess I could say a key. Oh. Do I think this would work well in VR? I think so. Because this is pretty stationary. Like, I could imagine just sitting in front of this shape. And then just looking, using your head to do exactly what I'm doing here. And then maybe wherever you're looking, the center of your vision would select something. And then when you're inside those experiences, you would just have a free look. Well, I think some of the post-processing effects could work. There isn't a huge amount of like... Well, the depth of field would probably look kind of weird in VR. I haven't actually played a game that uses it. A VR game. To really have an opinion. Hello, Howler Batman. Yeah, bits are just a way of donating money to streamers. It's like you pay for a certain amount of bits, and then you can just easily hand them out to whoever, so you don't have to like do a payment transaction every time. You could just get a whole collection of them and just throw them out like candy wherever you'd like. So I don't really know if people just throw candy out, but who knows. Okay, so we got 2 of these that are mirror images of one another. Okay, I think what Eel said is probably right. Maybe you just have to make a pathway. Maybe the shape that's painted on there doesn't matter? Well, then that wouldn't make sense, because there's a gap facing that one. Or maybe the empty one is like a hollow tube, so it's like the water will drain in that direction or something? I don't know. I don't get it. What even changed? Huh. Wait, it's not gonna let me advance to the next door? Well, that's interesting. It's sort of like I'm abstractly standing over here and I have to make a bridge before I can get to this door. So... guess I just have to somehow get water dumped down there so that everything rises. Oh, okay. This is like a Half-Life 2 puzzle. You need to find. That's what it says. Well, push another button. Did it say it? You need to find... Oh, it is a T. I thought those were like exclamation points or something. I'm looking at a small window on my monitor and you guys are looking at a full screen stretched image. Well, depending on what you're watching from. Trying to keep an eye out for vents. No, I'm not. I never stream with full screen. I mean, most streamers have stuff in windowed mode. It's just so that you can have chat open. You can have a lot of stuff. I only use one monitor. Even though I have multiple monitors that I could use, I don't know, I just like keeping focused on one. Okay, on to the next spot. Got a cycle of water of some kind. Notice a lot of people, like, when you hear how different dialects, at least within America, North America, how people pronounce the word water. Like, I mean, everyone has an accent, you know, there's no such thing as no accent. I guess in Minnesota, I usually just hear water. Like, I would like a glass of water. Water. But then I hear so many people say water. Like some water. Yeah. Like William said. And I think in Canada, like I remember that How It's Made show, which is a Canadian show. That guy would always say like, then the machine. Let's see, what would it say? The machine then fills with 40 liters of water. Oh, yeah, I think it's just Wisconsin that says warsh. Did you wash your hands? Like, what? Oh, here's a tape. Mountain. You say water. Okay, in Canada. Speaking of which, there's a Canadian flag at the top of the mountain. What convenient timing. This music, though, I'm just gonna sit and listen to this. Oh, the flag has it's a Canadian flag. It has the maple leaf. Yeah, it's really subtle for some reason. Yeah, some British people say water. Like a glass of water. Do you please get me a glass of water so I can play video games for a little bit longer? Talk with a guttural stop. Kind of just abbreviate most of the words that I say. Forget Captain Obvious. Are you Swedish? I can't remember where you said you're from. Oh yeah, in Minnesota there's a major case of people saying milk. Get a glass of milk. I used to say that a lot. I'm trying to actively say milk. And anytime I hear that kind of accent, I don't know what part of the UK that kind of accent is from. Not really heavy. Guttural stop. Like, you know, the streamer Spamfish. He has like an accent that's exactly like that. Oops. But it makes me think of the peasant from Warcraft 2. I guess the peasant is always gonna have that voice. It's like, what do you want? More work? What is it? Yes, me lord. Job's done. No, not really Malk, more like Melk, like M-E-L-K, like you're about to say melt, but you put a K at the end instead. I've seen it. Well, tell me where it is, because I'm looking for it. Ooh, more corrupt. As a Shulk main, I need to date a daily glass of MALLC to keep my frame data running strong. I know that is so... It's like an MLG language that I don't understand. Or what's the Smash Brothers tournament called? Like that really big one. Oh yeah, I want to see how ice has changed. Ooh. It's more polluted. Even though I think the international language... Wait. I was gonna say, I think the color coordination is supposed to be that blue when a liquid container is blue, that's supposed to mean that it's water. Speaking of which, there's like a whole color code for liquid containers, at least in the US. Oh, there it is. Wait. Oh, let me go back. Camera, please. And where'd it go? There it is. So beautiful. Now for Corruption Mountain. My goodness. Blue balls everywhere. Blue balls. The acronyms get ridiculous, like SABDJCUS. How do you even... Sabjicus? And it stands for Speed Art Buffer Deactivation Jump Cancelled Up Smash. Jesus. I think it's funny listening to all these... Like, one of my favorite things are complicated inside jokes. not even inside jokes, but like just insider information that you have like no idea where to even begin when you hear people talk about it. And that's really funny to me for some reason. I mean, I'm obviously not like bursting out laughing, but I think it's just funny. Electric Eel had a Smash attorney commentator join you guys for casual games, and you never felt so much fear and pressure while fighting. I imagine. Is this just a random person in the chat that happened to be that way, or was it someone that you guys knew and you just invited him on? I mean, speedrunning has that kind of level of acronymization going on. Oh, okay. Now this just straight up tells me to connect these two. Let's see if that's true. I mean, what else would it be? Okay. Button. I feel like that's the last button. Let's see. Speaking of like different ways of talking, like when I listen to Vinny and Mike talk, I hear so many like, New York types of things. Let me get indoors. Like one thing. Oh, okay, we got lights and oh, that's very helpful actually. I got one more to do. Anytime he says, my voice. Anytime he says tour or tournament, he's like, I'm gonna go on a tour or a tournament. Keep popping the mic by accident. I don't have a pop filter. I just have a mom filter. No. But, and also like he says forest, like forest. And I'll never forgive him for saying ballista instead of ballista. Like what? How could it possibly be ballista? Like ballistic? Let's say ballistic. Okay, I think this door was the puzzle I didn't figure out. Oh yeah, Mario. Oh yeah, I just have... You said just get some pantyhose and stretch it over, or stretch it over something. I totally just have pantyhose laying around the house. Well, for a different recording device I have a Zoom H4 or whatever it's called. I put just like a sock over it and that seems to work pretty well as like a wind filter, but I feel like I need something thinner when it's something as sensitive as like having my voice right next to it. I mean, it has like, this microphone has a bare minimum, like a tiny little, like, thing over it. But it doesn't do the work very well. Where was that puzzle that I couldn't do? Is that this one? Cake-a-demon. Okay, this is the one. So I should essentially, or I should theoretically be an expert now because I've solved those other puzzles. I mean, like right here, this is supposed to be the suggestion on how to do it. But I'm not understanding. Well, I'm pretty certain this one needs to be like this. That it's facing these two. So I think it's just a matter of finding the correct position for the bottom left and top right. Remember, full colors to blanks, hatched colors to dashes. Full color to blank. Oh, so maybe these are... This isn't saying what orientation they need to have, it's just what needs to be touching what. Oh, that makes sense. So... This should be this. This should be this. And this should be... Wait, but then... Wait a minute. I feel like I'm so close. This technically follows all the rules. Solid to blank, gray, or half to dash, half to dash. This should be right. Okay. Solid to blank, to blank. It's gray. I feel like this should be correct as well. Solid blank. Dash to half. Dash to half. I need to get my terms consistent. Solid to blank. Okay, so I think I'm going to lay brute force So I'll put everything in like a starting position. All the solids facing up. This is gonna take a long time. Okay, let's see what logical sense this makes. Well, first of all, we got solid to solid, solid to solid, gray to gray. Well, then what rules are we even following here? This doesn't make any sense. Whatever. That was an awfully abrupt water cutoff. I was kind of expecting it to be like a gradual. So I got all these, it's like a diamond shape, and there's all these wires going to it. Well, we'll see. Wait. Yes! It seems like the hint lied. Like maybe I'm just totally misreading it. Okay, there's the last button. So that's another word a lot of people pronounce differently. I say button. Some people say button. And I had a teacher. Let me go inside where it's quieter. I had a teacher with a southern accent who would say different instead of different. Go. Should place our bets. What color the final laser is going to be. Because we got RGB. Is it going to be yellow? Oh, I was right. There were also some really odd areas I found. Sounds like a running theme. It was some kind of testing on blah blah blah. I think it was why they wanted to keep them docile with the tapes. What would human blah 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 have to do with the environment? Their backup plan: if you can't fix the world around you, adapt yourself to fit the world. Ooh, are we in an apocalyptic situation here? So why didn't it work when you tried? I resisted, I was afraid. You have to be willing to give it everything. To not come back, I couldn't do it, so nothing changed. How will I know if I've actually done it? Mono, did you ever talk about that crazy dream you had on stream? It really sounded like some Alan Resnick shit, like you said, so abstract. No, I never really talked about it. It was funny because, like, literally, right after I woke up, I gotta write this down. So, like, every millennial, I tweeted it instead of writing it down. But, well, Alan Resnick, he's produced a lot of just crazy, just impossibly weird videos online, like this house has people in it, an untitled video, unedited footage of a bear, and Alan tutorials, and they're like conceptually complex beyond comprehension. Like when you go and analyze it later, you're just like, oh my mind. But I had a dream that just felt like something straight out of his kind of content. And I even tweeted it at him in case, I don't know, he has weird responses to people. He responds to his fans, so I was hoping he'd say something, but he didn't. I mean, you can see it on my Twitter account. It was just basically like I was at a baseball game for some reason, and there's teams I didn't recognize at all. I was kind of feeling like, why am I even here? And but everyone seemed to be acting like everything was normal, and they were all singing this nonsensical chant together that I don't remember any of the words of it, because, you know, in a dream it's impossible to miss anything because your brain, you know, is making what you do and do not see and hear. So it was like and then people in the audience just started painting little statues. Like, instead of watching the game, they all started pulling out these little white plaster looking statues, and they're painting them specifically teal. So they were getting really into that, not even watching the game anymore. And then suddenly this mascot that I didn't tweet about this, but the mascot, it was wearing like it's kind of like a yellow like piece of taffy or something. It was just like a rectangle, a really simple shape, but it had a face on it that was just kind of had like a neutral expression. And written on this rectangular mascot person said, with quotation marks, said, "There's corn," was written on it. And then right when the mascot ran out, everyone started in the audience just started getting really upset. People were pulling out cameras and taking pictures of this mascot, but then they were, you know, kind of like when a tragic thing happens, sometimes people like whip out phones and start filming it. But then people are also sort of panicking and getting really uneasy about it, and they started leaving the area, and the mascot was just still standing out there. Not, you know, not like in a typical mascot fashion, not like, oh yeah, all enthusiastic, shaking their arms around. He's just kind of walked out and just stood there. And then I was running away with everyone. And then when they got onto the concourse of like this, it was kind of like an outdoor stadium, but there's an interior concrete area where you'd like get to enter the space. And there was just what looked like cream corn or something just splattered everywhere, and there's like people covered in it, and there's people panicking, and they're just like extremely distressed. And as people were running by, they were like handing me tools like hammers and screwdrivers and things, like they're trying to force it into my hands. And I was just like, no, like shoving it away, like stop giving me these. It's like people were trying to ditch things, like they had you know, illegal contraband on them, and they were trying to get rid of it by handing it to me. It's like, stop giving me your screwdrivers and hammers and things. And I was like dropping them on the ground trying to get away. And then these people that looked like EMTs, you know, like people in ambulance, emergency medical technicians, they started arriving, and they had these large blue tarps that they were catching people in. Like they were wrapping people up in it and dragging them away. So people were all in these tarps, but they seemed like they wanted to be wrapped in this stuff. It wasn't like they're against their will. All these living people all mashed together in these tarps, and the EMTs were like pulling them outside. And then I finally made it outside, and there was just like bodies, like motionless human bodies all over the place. and they were covered in teal paint. It was just like the wet paint had just been poured on their bodies, and they're just laying there, not moving. And police had started to show up. But then I remember getting on, in the very end, I was getting on a train, like to leave the area, and everyone was just like whispering to one another, kind of looking out the window at the stadium, all these bodies covered in teal paint. And they're just like, oh my God, look at that. And then as the train is moving away, I remember seeing like police cars, but then there's a mixture of farm equipment and police cars. There was like a tractor went by, and like a big like combine harvester was going by, but mixed with police, and everyone seemed really determined, like this is a very serious situation. And I didn't know what to think. It's just like, what is happening right now? But this is exactly the type of tone that Alan Resnick's stuff is like, though. Something that if you explain it to someone, would just be like, oh, that's kind of weird and funny. But then the context of how he portrays his content makes it really disturbing and hard to watch. Like if you watch unedited, or no, if you watch This House Has People in It, like kind of the ongoing thing is that the daughter, or at least this girl, is laying face down on the kitchen floor, and she just sinks into the floor. And that's like the thing. She's sinking into the floor, and the people around her are just like so distraught over this fact that she's sinking into the floor, and you're like, no, and they're like trying to pull her out, and they're just like, oh, and yanking her around. And then there's people who are and they go under the floor below in the basement, and then she's like sinking into the floor, and she falls through, and everyone's panicking. It's like, it's the same type of stuff. I don't know. It was just, I mean, I have a lot of like weird dreams and things like this, but this one actually seemed like it was composed by a person. But maybe I wasn't even watching Alan Resnick's stuff before. I don't know. It was weird. You initially thought there's corn sounded like ominous enough, but now you add all this in, the stream is getting better. Emphasis on corn agriculture. That's what was strange. It was like there was the color teal and farm stuff mixed with baseball. And now that I think about it, I do not remember any baseball being involved other than the fact that we were all at a field, you know, in bleachers surrounding a baseball field. Oh, even weirder though is when I tweeted all this, which was like yesterday or 2 days ago, I went on Alan Resnick's Twitter, and I was reading stuff, and I found that he's also following a bunch of the actors that are in his videos, and this one guy named and this is all after the dream, so I would have no way of knowing this until then. I can't remember his name. His name's like Robbie something. His most recent tweet is him saying, if I don't wear cargo shorts, how will people know that I'm going to go to a baseball game? And I was like, what? I hadn't heard anywhere about baseball or any of that when I had this dream. And then I go back like a month ago, and there's a video of Alan Resnick and two of his like actor friends, like they all are in the same comedy troupe or whatever, a video of them just swinging baseball bats around in an alley. Like, I'm not making this up. This was so strange. I was like, what on earth? I had not seen anything about this before. And now it's almost like I said in the tweet, it's like he injected these ideas into my mind, or maybe I accidentally intercepted some kind of like radio waves of their conversations. I'm trying to see if I can find the video, but it's gonna be pretty far back. Well, I want to finish this game before it gets too late. But oh yeah, here's the video. I gotta get this set up so it's easier for me to show stuff. Come on. Come on! This show's black. Well, I'll just post a link to the tweet in the chat, because this is not cooperating. So you can see the tweet for yourself. Funny thing is, my birthday is April 4th, and that was tweeted on my birthday, which has nothing to do with it, but it's just like a... So I was just thinking about baseball and this guy, and all of a sudden I'm finding like references to baseball in their tweets. Okay. You just found someone in a Discord server who doesn't know of Alan. I'm introducing him to Mindfuck Central. Exactly. Maybe his shorts are just his way of grappling with the nature of dream logic. It does feel that way. Like, a lot of times when you dream, not to get super sidetracked from the game, a lot of times what happens in dreams is like you have incomplete rationale or incomplete logic behind your thoughts. Normally in real life you'd be like, okay, in order for me to get from here to there, I need to walk. And this process of walking, exiting this house, and then going over this street, and then entering this other house. Like, okay, that's just how it works. But in a dream, it'd be like, okay, I need to get from here to there. So I'm going to open this door, and then I'm going to enter the other house as soon as I exit this house. And to your dream, it makes sense. Because it's like your brain isn't fully connecting all the dots that it normally does. And then you think about your dream afterwards and you're like, that doesn't make sense. But during the dream, usually you're like, oh yeah, this is okay. This is cool. Okay, anyway. I'm going to continue here, but I'm still reading your comments. Pressing spacebar. There's still more? I thought this was almost over. Oh, it's only one door though, so maybe this is the conclusion. Oh no, Electric Eel, I appreciate you asking about it. I forgot that I hadn't mentioned it. I like weird stuff. Weird is always recommended. Uh-oh, we portal now. Is this the cassette construction zone? Weird dreams are some of your favorite things to hear about. I remember in high school I had a friend who didn't see the point of talking about weird dreams until he had one that inspired him and he couldn't stop talking about it. It's true. Wish I could lucid dream. Haven't managed to do it properly yet. I mean, I feel like I have, but I just don't fully understand what it would feel like. Like, I know I've been well aware that I'm dreaming and was able to affect my dreams. I mean, I have a lot of pretty lewd dreams that I don't tell people about, but maybe that's just being a dude. Lewd dude. Just keep trying. I can do it sometimes, but it's like I fall back into dreams and forget I'm lucid. It's just another dream. Danger. Man, I want to watch all these tapes. This definitely sounds like conclusive music. So I gotta switch. Oh. Why is there a magnet here? We don't have have lewd dreams are often work related. I don't know, maybe it's just a part of being lonely. Let's see. Oh, that was disappointingly quiet. I want to hear like and all kinds of colliding sounds. Wait, oh, here. Huh. I saw a pentagon up there. Find peace of mind. Yeah, that's true, Nevi. I've heard that. It's like, you can't not dream. It's just a matter of if you remember it or not. Because if you don't dream, it means that your brain is not functioning, which you would be dead. Because your brain can never fully shut down. Even when you're asleep, it just kind of partially shuts down. Okay, what tape is this gonna be? Alpha. Oh boy. Is this like an early prototype tape? Usually when you have lewd dreams, there's an element of horror to it. Like there's a girl who's into you but wanted to kill you and had a bunch of limbs that were made of iron and she kept beating the hell out of me. I can kind of relate. Usually stuff isn't quite right. Like I have dreams where my hair is just growing out of control. Maybe it's because I cut my hair really short these days because I have like thinning hair, but I'll have dreams where my hair is like so long and it's really like bristly and disgusting and it's just tangled and everything, and I'm just like panicking because I have to go to school or go to work and like there's no way I can show up with hair like this, and it's just like extremely dry and crispy and I can't cut it off. It's just too tangled, and that's like the whole dream is me wrestling with the hair. It's confusing. This is so cool looking. I'm actually Bayonetta. I guess in my dreams I am. But I can't use the hair as a weapon. The hair is like holding me down, like literally. It's just out of control. Well, that's weird. Is that a crystal elevator? I love like the theme. Like there's a certain amount of sides to a shape that represents each area, and I guess this is like the final square zone. Switches inside of switches. You gotta be kidding me. got dead tapes, tape storage. Dreams where you don't remember are so disorienting. Like when I wake up and I feel like I've been somewhere familiar, I want to hold on to that feeling because it's so beautiful. But the harder I try, the more awake I become. Oh, I've had dreams like that. Like I've been just like seriously saddened by dreams before. I mean, not to the point of tears, but I'll just feel so depressed after a dream that was so good. I'm thinking all the way through the dream, like, I hope this is not a dream, it's not a dream. And then I'll wake up and I'll be like, God damn it, it was a dream. And I'll just be disappointed the whole rest of the day. Want to forever remain in a dream state. Neural network. Not to call out anyone, because I usually don't, but I just noticed, you know, I was talking about baseball, and this whole weird dream, and Alan Resnick talking about, or one of his actors talking about baseball, and there being a video of them swinging bats around. Now there's someone in my chat right now named B-Ball Fan. Like, what is happening right now? Have I ever attempted to fall back into a dream? Oh yeah, all the time. I have had dreams resume before. Where it's like, oh, I want to go back, and then I actually do. But that's very rare. Gosh. It's like the production line of all these keys. Let me see what this is like. Pre-corrupt. Use gamma. Dang, this is nice. Alright, time for corrupt. It's a day of weird resonances. Like today I went to a concert that was Mega Man themed, and suddenly Vinny plays a Amnesia mod with a bunch of Mega Man references, draws Mega Man as face generator, and then I go over to my stream with the polygon faced man. It's the same one as one of the masks that was being worn at the concert. It's wild. That's awesome. That's one of my favorite things, is making connections with stuff that happens in the day. And I've, like, this whole baseball thing right now, like, what the hell? But I have a lot of these, like, coincidences. I guess it's just kind of when you have an analytical mind, like, you're always looking for patterns and looking for some kind of meaning and stuff, that you end up just finding the strangest connections between things. I guess that's part of why I like, you know, like, cryptic stuff in games and Easter eggs, you know, and all that is like, It's like finding a level of understanding of something you thought you knew so well, and then all of a sudden you've reached another level of understanding. I don't know, it kind of makes sense. I've had a dream where someone's trying to wake you up and you keep waking up for a microsecond and become restless. Yeah, if you fall asleep with a noise, and sometimes a noise will wake you up and then go back to sleep again. Okay, let's start with alpha corruption. Connections. Well, you could say like motifs, which kind of will hint that it's an artistic choice rather than just connections between things. I'd like to see the concept art or the sketches behind this game. Like, how do you plan a design like this? Okay. This is ominous. 3 keys. Everything number 7. 7th in Mario Kart, 7th place. Jeff's chat counter thing, 777 Discord. 77 in your house, 7 in your BattleNet. Dang. Yeah, I don't have as many numeric things. I mean, I've seen the number 69. I mean, with the sexual part aside, I see the number 69 all the time. Like when I'll just look at the temperature online, like, oh, it's 69 degrees. And then it'll be like, this download is 69% done. Like, I'll see that number constantly. But I think it's a number that stands out because it's unusual. Maybe I'm just more aware because it is one. I kind of don't notice all the other numbers that we constantly see. I don't know. Elevator. Ooh. You had your first commission was to illustrate a molecule for a book, and now there's this. That is a cool connection. We've arrived. Whoa, 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 whoa. First person. What is this? The whole game has changed. Oh my god, and it is so choppy. It's like maximum sensitivity. Oh, that's cool. It's like the static is applied environmentally instead of locally. What on earth? I like how my crosshair is a hexagon. Can't tell what that is. It's like a bunch of designs on this generator that look strange. How come so many games I've been playing lately have these antennas? Like the specific microwave antenna. It's so weird. Yeah, like the last 3 games I've played, this has that antenna, then that VR robot game had that specific antenna, and then that game called Islands, Familiar Places or whatever, that was the final area had that antenna there. I guess the dude just kind of look cool. And I guess I do kind of seek out games that have like a abstract technological edge to them. Ah, was that there the whole time? Here's like a blue tarp. I was just talking about blue tarps. It is weird of them to suddenly make this game first person. Oh, I like that. How the power doesn't instantly turn on, you watch it travel through the tube. I wonder if this game has a way of getting people to focus on associative modes of thought. When you think associatively, it tends to heighten the rate at which weird connections are perceived. That's an interesting way to think of it. So it is sort of, I mean, when you play any kind of game, developers tend to design games with a common theme, you know, the conventions of the gameplay, and then prepping or priming your mind to think that way makes those things sort of drip over into other aspects of your life. Bleed over, I guess I'm looking for. Had no idea this game is going to be this long. Touch it. Is that ferrofluid? I'm liking this. How will I know if I've actually done it? Can I? No. That was... I loved that ending. Here the ending just kind of brings it all together and explains it all. No. But I love that kind of abstract stuff. It's in the music, it was all so good. Oh, look at that lens distortion. a surprising amount of people involved with this. Whoa, Isaac Cohen, Kabibo, I met him in person. He was showing off a game at the GlitchCon that I was at, and I got to meet him. He's really big into like shader development in games. You've unlocked the ability to revisit any factory. Select this icon from the main menu to continue exploring. Okay. I'm just curious what this menu looks like. Oh. I didn't get all the tapes. And I wonder how... Oh, and I didn't get the final lens, if there was one. Huh. Well, I'm definitely not going to go back and try to find them now, because it's so late where I am. It's like 5:20 a.m. Maybe I got all the tapes. Oh, but didn't see all the corruptions. Okay. That would make sense, because I remember there was a case where I was like, oh shoot, I didn't get to see the corrupted version. The ending was cool because apparently the narrative was about humans attempting to adapt their consciousness or failing to do so to a changing world. And the ending seemed to tie that theme together. It kind of felt that way. It was like there's something really wrong with the world. So they have this technology to try to simulate a better world. But they weren't able to fully do it somehow. Like at the end when he says like, how will I know when I've done it? Maybe it's sort of like a meditation thing where it's like trying to put your mind in a different place. And kind of the music reminds me of this one weird moment that I had with the Donnie Darko DVD. Like this was, I don't know, it was like my freshman year or maybe sophomore year in college. And there's just a group of people that were going over to someone's place and they were just gathering herds of people like, hey, we're gonna watch Donnie Darko. You guys wanna? And we did. And we watched the whole movie, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it. It was on DVD at someone's apartment, and it ended up being like 3 in the morning. And when the movie ended, it went back to the title screen of the DVD, and we were all just kind of sitting around, like falling asleep, and just staring at the TV. And you know how in DVD the main menu just sort of loops. It'll have like a little thing that happens, and then you'll see it stutter a second, and then it loops again. But it had been looping for a long time, and we were just sort of talking, and then all of a sudden, like everyone in the room just got really quiet, and we were all staring at the TV, and it was in the dark. Couldn't see anything else but the TV, and the screen just started like melting. Like the audio and the main screen just started getting slower and slower, and then the title and all the imagery just started slowly like getting liquefied and like dripping off the screen. I mean, not literally off the TV, but it just sort of like fell to the ground, and we were all just staring, totally quiet at it. And then someone was like, "Did you all just see that?" And you're like, "Yeah, what was that?" And then it just goes back to the loop of the main thing going back again. We tried to make it happen again, so we left it looping and looping, and we could not get it to do it again. It looked intentional, like we weren't just hallucinating it or something, and nobody was doing any drugs there, as far as I knew. And it was just like, I saw it too, and I own this exact same DVD, and I have not been able to get it to do that again. It just randomly had this strange, twisted... I mean, it fits the theme of the movie. But this sound that we're listening to right now, like this... like that was sort of the sound that it was making. It was just like a very eerie moment. I mean, I love experiences like that, where it just sort of makes you think, like, you question what you just saw, and you feel a little uncomfortable. But I like that feeling of discomfort. I mean, that's like, I live for that kind of stuff. You say, were they simulating, or did that world actually exist and the tapes were merely windows? It means either you escaped to a better world or imprisoned in a perfect simulation. It could be like a case of a perfect simulation, because it seems like throughout this whole thing, like we're intruding on this factory that produced these tapes, and they try to make people feel like there's a better world. Then at the very end, it was like we activated some singularity. So maybe you're permanently there now, something like that. Yeah, glitch in the Matrix kind of stuff. Reminds me of glitches I ended up having. Okay. Glitches you can never reproduce. There was one other case I was trying to think of where something weird happened. Well, I remember one time, like I know what this was all about now, so it's not scary anymore, but when I was like 10 and I was playing, I think it was the original Doom, that when you beat the game in a certain way, the screen would just turn... It would like... I couldn't find a video of it, but it was like the screen would turn a certain color, and then this text would slowly appear on the screen, and it would say like you have... Like it was talking to you, saying like, what have you stumbled upon? Like, is this something blah blah blah? It was just, the wording of it was really spooky to me as a kid, and I got so scared by it that I like left the room, and I went down to my parents, and I didn't say anything. I was just kind of sitting by them, and I was afraid to go back into the room because it was like the game was speaking to me or something. You know, this is before the internet, so it wasn't like a weird modded version or anything. But the screen ended up like leading to some kind of secret level in the game. Maybe it was Doom 2. That sounds like the secret message icons of Doom 2, as well as Plutonia and TNT. Okay, so that is a thing then. You almost want to Google and see if the melt screen is intentional, but I'm afraid I'll see something spooky. It wasn't overtly scary. It wasn't like, oh, look at the ghost face or anything. It was like, it was so subtle that we didn't know if it was supposed to be happening or not. You know, this was a DVD, so it's not like a VHS tape, because sometimes like if tapes get melted a little bit, they'll have subtle changes to them that are kind of eerie. I mean, it's like the whole analog thing. Like, let me see what, Donnie Darko DVD Easter egg. Has deleted scenes. This sounds weird. It says like, to access the third and fourth deleted scenes, simply head to the special features menu, select commentaries and subtitles. Once that menu, inside the menu, highlight the Spanish subtitles option and press your right button. Jim Cunningham's eye will glow and you can view the third scene. Once you've again repeated with commentary, simply press your enter button on the remote when the white rabbit head appears to view the fourth deleted scene. The hell? Maybe we accidentally unlocked some kind of thing without realizing it. Oh god, this is kind of like Google searching song lyrics. You get these websites that are just the ugliest, like, ad revenue generating garbage sites ever. Wait, the continuing as the rest of the film begins to melt into the... Oh no, that's like an opinion. That's not... Well, I can't find it just on very basic search. Doom 2 in particular had a lot of bugged releases that don't contain the secret levels. Copy of Doom 2 didn't come with the Wolfenstein levels, for example, so it'd run the secret text and just go to the next level. Weird. Yeah, I remember I was never able to get the Wolfenstein levels to work on the version I had. I had like the Mac version of Doom 2. My cousins had the PC one, but they were able to get it, and I was like, why do you guys have the secret levels? It's always these tales in video games of something you did which no one would ever believe, but you know it happened as a fact. You saw that and you saw a friend. I know that I love hearing those stories. I mean, unless it gets like creepypasta level where it's like, oh, come on. Like, I don't think anyone truly believes that Ben drowned was, you know, a result of a mysterious version of Ocarina of Time that was at like a garage sale. But even if stuff is obviously fake, it's still interesting to hear. Like, I like seeing what people come up with. Like, I'd like to believe stuff is real. I'm feeling lucky is the only way to search. Is that still a thing on Google? I haven't even noticed. Let's see. Google. I'm putting Google into Google. It is still a thing. I'm surprised. Although when you mouse over it, it says, I'm feeling wonderful. I'm feeling doodly. Hungry. Artistic. Generous. What? What is this? What the hell? I'm doing something on a website that wasn't actually the game, but that would have been really cool if that was the game. That was my I'm feeling lucky thing. I hope this game has weird secrets in it. It's one of my favorite aspects of games. The existence of page 30 is spooky in of itself. Page 30? What is this? I had a glitch in Just Cause 2, which was apparently a memory issue where I had triggered some strange state where things... Oh, oh, there was don't hate me, but I think it was on on 4chan when I used to browse the video game boards all the time. That was like 10 years ago. But there was a story someone said where they were playing Grand Theft Auto 4, you know, the one that was in New York with Nico and Roman, and there was just a problem with the AI. Like, I can believe this happening, where the AI would just, like, they just stopped functioning. So everyone was just standing still in the streets. Like, all the cars were still, people were still, nobody was moving. Everyone was just completely frozen in different positions. And then you'd, like, walk through the world like it was in a frozen state. But you were still okay. Like, imagine how freaky it would be in real life. You're just out walking among tons of people and then everyone simultaneously just stops walking. But you're still walking around not knowing what's going on. Everyone's just like sitting there. Things started to disappear and NPCs vanished. You know, it's late when I don't feel like shutting the stream down because I'm too tired to shut it down. Just have to sit here for forever. I think I might be even doing something today. Like, let's see, what is it? Well, one thing when I was talking about, I'm gonna try to start up like a mysterious game kind of community. It'll make more sense when I get it more developed, but one thing I'd like to do is to have nights where I don't know, use Rabbit or one of those sites just to have like a playlist of interesting things to watch. Like, I can't remember who was mentioning it, but the Petscop thing. Let's see if this is even working. Well, the thing I haven't found a way to word what I want to do in concise enough of a way for it to make sense. It would mostly just be stuff that interests me about weird aspects of games, and it wouldn't even necessarily be exclusive to games. It's just more like kind of at my own will when I find stuff. Like, you know, when I just talk about stuff like this on stream, it would try to orient it more towards games, but even just like geocaching and something called benchmarking, just like all the weird stuff that exists out there, kind of the ignored, I like to call it like third layer content of games, like the stuff that is put into a game but the developers don't really intend you to find it. It's just there in case someone wants to find it, but you can easily play through a game and never find it. Yeah, geocaching is pretty cool. I've tried doing it around my town, but that geocaching fits so well with Easter eggs. I'm gonna get this to work. It just keeps showing up black. Because geocaching, you know, is sort of like the real life version of Easter eggs in a way. Like, you go about your day thinking you know this town so well, and then you find out that there's hidden things all over in this area that you thought you knew. Like, you know, I live in a really busy downtown area, and there's these things that are called like micro caches, which are really small, like bolt-sized things. Like, they'll disguise these little canisters to look like a piece of a park bench, and they'll have a tiny magnet in them, Then they'll hide a really small rolled up piece of paper inside it, and it'll just be like sitting underneath a bench, and you'll think it was a part of like a nut and bolt that's there to hold the bench together, but you pull it off, you unscrew it, and it's actually a tiny piece of paper, which is like the log, and then you write your name down and the date and put it back in, so it's like it's keeping a log of everyone who's found this tiny little thing. Some are bigger, like I found one that's it's considered a small size, and it was like a peanut butter plastic container, and someone wrapped it in like this camouflage tape, and they hid it under a rock that was out in this park near where I live. And I've been in this park so many times, I had no idea it was there. And then when you get to the larger cache sizes, that they'll hide other objects in there, and you're supposed to like leave one, take one kind of thing. So I left like a small pin that I got at an arts festival in there, and then I took... What did I take? I think it was a coin of some kind. It was like a Canadian coin, which, you know, you don't really see that often in the US. You're just supposed to put a weird thing, like a treasure, in there, and then you take one. But when you're in a downtown area, everything tends to be micro caches because it's really hard to hide something big in a busy city with a lot of people. Whereas when you get further out into the country, they have like these monstrous, like Tupperware, like giant storage bin sized caches that are buried like 10 feet underground. I should leave Vinesauce kazoos. I don't actually have a kazoo. I've never met any Vinesauce people in real life. It's kind of an island up here. An island of not very many Vinesauce people. I think the closest person to me is Jen. I think she's in Chicago. I mean, there's a few people, like just regular viewers, who are up here, but not that many. There's only like 3 or so that I know of. Well, I don't know why this isn't working. Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch the video on my own. You can do it as Vinesauce advertising. If I had them, I would hide them in geocaches. That'd be cool. People would be like, what is Vinesauce? Vinesauce, ugh. There's this weird trend where I live, people painting rocks and writing city names on it, and someone would find it, write their town's name on it. They would go on these journeys until someone would find it again like 6 months later with a whole bunch of names on it. That's cool, I've heard of that. That was the PS1 startup. My voice is super calming, you like it? Well, thank you. I try. Yeah, one of my friends, so one of my exes, she used to do that in her hometown in Boston, where she would, she and her sister would paint little rocks with like really detailed illustrations on it, and would put them around in parks, and they actually got a lot of attention that like a local paper covered it. Like, this mysterious artist is painting all these rocks around town. There's a thing with geocaching too, where it's like, I can't remember what they call it, but it's a special coin that is called like a traveling coin, where when you find it, you can't leave it where you found it. So it's sort of like this curse that follows you. You take the coin and you have to leave it like a minimum of a mile away from where you found it. So it allows this coin to travel around the world. And some of them have literally gone around the world. Like, someone will take it on an airplane with them and bring it into another country and then hide it somewhere. Then you're supposed to like log where you left it, or where you found it and where you left it, so like it online somewhere so you can track it around the world. Geocaches are a fun way to start an ARG. Like, yeah, I've kind of wanted to try seeing if I could start something locally. So we got these escape rooms that are really popular. So that kind of idea would work. People are up for it. You had a dollar bill like that? Yeah, it was called like Where's Washington? And you'd have a number on it, and you would register that number online and say where you got it and how you got it. This is great background music. ARG would be fun to design. I know the basics of game design, but ARG seems like a whole next level. Do stuff with that. Yeah, ARGs are tricky because there are so many cliches. Like literally anyone can make an ARG. Like you don't have to have any sort of technical know-how. Like you don't have to code anything, you don't have to model anything, draw anything. I mean, you can, but it's just like you can start an ARG just with like a Facebook message or a YouTube video. But the problem though is it's because so many people are trying to make ARGs now that there's just like an excess of just really uninteresting, not very intriguing ones out there. There's just lots of cliches that people are like, oh, I'll just have Morse code, and then the Morse code is something else, and then that turns into something else. Like you gotta have something that keeps people coming back that isn't just copy paste puzzles. Either like an ongoing story or just some reason that people would want to come back, because most people aren't going to find it all that fun to just be copying and pasting code into scripts online to translate them for you. You don't think there'll be a Frog Fractions 2-tier ARG again? I don't know. Did you watch the documentary at Twinbeard? He talked about the development of the ARG going into Frog Fractions 2, and he said that he handed it off to a friend of his who ended up making like the eye sigil and some of the other aspects that got really complicated. And those other people, they're like dedicated ARG people. I mean, they could easily have something in the works right now. That's the mysterious thing about ARGs, is that I'm sure there's a bunch out there that just people haven't discovered and haven't started looking into. Like YouTube is just like ridden with obscure stuff that could potentially be an ARG. Oh yeah, I was checking my phone to see if I have to wake up in an hour to do something, which I don't think I do. Let's see. Oh, that's next Monday. It's not this Monday. Yeah, if anyone's from Minnesota, you should go to Northern Spark. That's next weekend. Next Saturday or this coming weekend, I should say, at 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's an all-night arts festival. It's lots of weird stuff. It's going on between the Commons Park in Minneapolis all the way to Union Depot in St. Paul. So the festival is like 10 miles long, and it goes along the train line, so you get off different stops to see different things. And it's free. Well, that's what I was trying to do, Nevi. I was trying, because, oh, wait, that's not it. Oh, now it's showing. Here, let me... It was refusing to work before. Well, Electric Eel, you're welcome to move here. You could hang out. And you'll be like, ugh, Monotonist is so awkward and frustrating in real life. It's a nice state to recommend anyone checking it out. If you're someone who's expecting like a New York level of vastness, urban landscape, you're not going to get that. Like, I think Vinny would be bored to tears if he ever came here. Really not much to do, but it's just like, if you like this kind of climate, really wide range of seasons, big biking culture, life by the Mississippi River. No way it could possibly be more awkward than me. Well, funny thing is, like, among nerdy people, I tend to be like the diffuser of awkward. Like, I was at this one meetup where we all, I don't think any of them would be watching right now, but I was at this meetup for Nintendo fans, and we were at the Mall of America, which I live pretty close to, and we met there, and we kind of spent the whole day in the mall. It was kind of a mixed group of just guys and girls, and we're all similar age, and like everyone had like varying degrees of social skills, which always kind of happens at anime conventions and stuff. But this one guy, like, he kept trying to be funny. I don't think he meant to be offensive, but he kept saying like kind of sexist things, and there's all these, there's girls there. I mean, I didn't think there were things he's saying were funny, so I kept like strategically changing the subject anytime he would bring something up without saying to him like, you should stop. You know, I didn't yell at him, but I was like spending the whole evening trying to smooth out the situation and sort of reduce the potential awkwardness of the situation, or it would be like really quiet and no one would be saying anything at all. So I'd be like, yeah, so I was playing this game, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, I'm good at like keeping things not awkward, but among normal people, I'm super awkward. Like, I never go to bars, but I've been to bars before. Like, after events, people are like, oh yeah, we're gonna all go to a happy hour, and then I go to happy hour, and I'm just bored to tears, because part of the thrill is that everyone's like, oh, well, you gotta get buzzed in order to enjoy hanging out at happy hour. And I'm like the only one that's sober there. I don't drink. And I don't know. It was just like, normal people stuff is so boring. It's just not, it's hard to find people who are nerdy in a similar way to myself here. Like, I go to virtual reality meetups all the time. Nearly everyone is like in their mid-30s and up, and they're all like married and have kids, and I'm one of the youngest ones there. And I go to anime conventions, even though I don't have a big thing for anime, and it's like, then I'm the oldest one there, because everyone there is like a teenager, and at the oldest, they're probably 21 or so. You know, I'm 29. So then I feel like way older than everyone. And if there are older people at an anime convention, they're all just in their rooms at the hotel just drinking and getting super drunk, and they're not even like nerdy, interesting people at that point. They're just kind of sloppy and drunk and not fun to hang around. So I don't know, I just can't win. So I guess that's why I hang out with people on the internet. It's hard to find anyone that's like interesting and nerdy and like willing to go outside and is hygienic, which sounds weird to ask that of people, but it's like, you'll find someone who's interesting, but then they're just like, they're really sloppy and they're really hard to get along. I don't know. Life stuff. You're not normal people, so only bar that sounds cool. Is this one an arcade that Sarah invited? Yeah, there's starting to be more like video game oriented arcades and stuff. That seems pretty cool. You're the youngest of your Twitch friends. I don't know, I think most people in this community, like at least with Vinesauce, I think most chat members are probably between like 18 and 25. Totally get that. I have to go to dinner tomorrow with some senior academics and I'm already feeling uneasy about it. Yeah. Actually found a friend online that I've now had since I think the late 2015. Yeah, it's funny, the people that I've known, like non-family members that I've known longer than anyone else are people that I met in like 1999 and 2000 on the internet. And I'm like Facebook friends with one of them, and I haven't really talked to him since, but it's weird to know that like my internet friends from the 90s are people that I've known longer than anyone else in person. And I don't even know their names, most of them. Like back then, we didn't really tell each other our real names. Everyone just had their online identities, and they've changed so much since then, and it's a weird culture. Ugh, okay. Well, I'm still going to be reading chat, but I think what I'll do is I'll conclude my commentary, my voice commentary, but I'll leave off the stream with this Petscop thing. And I think it was Nevi. Were you the one that referred this to me? I heard the name, and I didn't really look into it. But I think the fact that I don't know much about it will make it more interesting. I'll just watch the first part, which is 9 minutes long, and then there's a whole bunch of other parts, but I'm only going to play the first one, because I do need to get to sleep. Yeah, I'll be typing in the text chat, but I feel like I need to put a limit and actually sign off and like go to bed. So this will be the last thing.